driving when you're young, driving when you're middle age, AI driving. I'm not talking about Tesla. I'm talking about car technology such as adaptive cruise control, lane departure. Um, those things have been coming into all cars across the world, and you will be the beneficiary of driving cars with new technology. Many of your parents are early adopters. They have electric cars. They're driving cars with newer safety technology. The state, as well as the federal government, mandates that these new cars come with more driver technologies to reduce accidents. So we're going to go through this perspective, and it's going to really help you become the best driver you can, because that's the goal of you learning how to drive and me teaching you how to drive. If I talk about yesterday, we never learn about tomorrow. And if we focus on the day, you won't be prepared for tomorrow. So you got to always start thinking forward. Today is done. So one of the first questions I had you ask, and I needed you to put in, am I too old to improve my driving skills? You're never too old to improve your driving skills. From 16 to 96. If you want to learn how to drive and you have a good coach, your dad, your mom, a good driving instructor, someone with a lot of professional driving skill, a driving instructor, a bus driver, a semi truck driver, a professional race car driver. They have unique skill sets that can make you an elite student. So I always want you to try to connect with the person who has the greatest skill set. Right now, that's me. But as you drive more, you may have someone in your family who's a professional race car driver. You may go to a defensive driving school. Usually the state police, the city police, the federal police have to take a special class to deal with criminals who are driving on roads, and they need to know how to stop them without causing harm to the general public. Number two, how can I reduce stress while driving in heavy traffic? You have to learn how. AI features can help you. Adaptive cruise control. The car will actually slow down when the traffic slows down. The car will speed up. Again, I'm not talking about a self-driving car. I'm just talking about little sprinkles of smart car technology. You have to learn this. You have to learn how to keep your following distance. And beginning drivers don't keep their following distance. They tailgate very closely. So if you tailgate cars too close and someone hits brakes, you're going to hit them. And in the Midwest and in many states, if you rear end someone, you're at fault. So you need to learn this, Keith, by having experience. And experience is a good teacher. You made a choice to go to a school that is very important. That's a choice. Your school builds young men. Am I right, Keith? That's one of your things. Yes, Keith? Yes. Your school builds young men. Keith, if I'm right, give me a thumb up. Yeah. So I know about your school. That's why you go to that school, because you want to be a leader of tomorrow. Okay. And that's how you have to think about driving. And when you overcome anxiety, is being scared of a spider. I'm in my basement right now. There are spiders here. There are millipedes here. They're here. I could be scared not to come down here. When you drive, let's pretend you flipped your car in a snowstorm. You live in Alaska. It snows all the time. Eventually, you're going to have support from your mom, from your dad, a coach to get you back out there. It could be in your neighborhood. Maybe you go to a parking lot and your coach says, okay, hit the gas, spin around to know what the car feels like. You hit the gas and then you lift off. If you lift off the gas, you will unsettle the chassis and the car will jerk forward. I almost crashed in Alabama driving my race car about 130 miles an hour. I got out of the groove to the left. I almost hit the wall at 130 miles an hour. It scared me. I paused for a second. And they said, listen, if you don't get back into your car and drive, You will never get into your race car again. I have a 68 Gen 1 Camaro, it's in the garage, small tire car, 1,000 horsepower, blah, blah, blah. I got back in, I held the wheel straight, and I made a pass. So anxiety is a part of life. Anxiety is public speaking. Many of you will never speak in public. So you have to go through anxiety step by step. It's called gradual exposure. So in terms of AI or smart driving cars, it will help you become, if you're a bad driver, AI won't make you a good driver. If you're a good driver, AI may make you a better driver, or it may make you depend on the AI features and you never learn how to drive. That's going to be the struggle a lot of you will face over the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Am I reacting slower when I'm used to driving? Yes. Every second you get older. Many of you are 16, 15, 20, 30, 40, whatever. Every second you get older. Between that 16 to about 26, that's when you're at your peak. After about 26, it goes down. How to drive as an adult, we're going to address that. Because if you learn, okay, how to drive as an adult, you don't have a driver's education class. Now you need to go to a professional like me, maybe a professional school bus driver, a professional police officer. They are specially trained to teach you to handle situation calmly. You want to seek someone who's got the most driving experience. I've driven students over 24 years, teens, adults. So that experience is vast. That will give me a foundation to help you. And that foundation is staying calm, feeling the car, controlling the car. And as an adult, you want to make sure you have time to yourself. This is my time to myself teaching you right now. What steps can I take to avoid accidents? You want to keep more space. You want to leave early. If you leave late, you're going to speed. If you leave late to school, you're speeding through the neighborhood. If you leave late from home going to your job, you're going to speed. If you leave late from practice to go to your cousins or on Christmas time, your parents leave late. One of your parents is an early person, one of your parents is a late person. Please put in the chat if your parent is an early or late person. Everyone put that in. Okay, I'm late, my wife is early. Okay, so the propensity for me to speed is greater because I leave late. My wife is early. The propensity for her not to speed is much less because she leaves early. You are learning from your mom and dad. So if your mom is a late person, you're going to say, okay, I just woke up. I got to be to school in 5 minutes. It's okay. I can just throw on my hoodie, brush my teeth, throw on my sweatpants. I got my Jordans on. You're looking crispy, right? You look like a regular college or high school student. Get you there in like 10 minutes. You're 5 minutes late. You're like, I'm good. And your teacher's taking attendance. He or she marks you tardy. But your dad is early. It's 5 o'clock. Dad, 30, get up. Get you up at 6. You got to be to school at 7:15. You leave out the house at 6. Your dad takes you through a drive-through, gets you breakfast, puts some money on your debit card, gives you some cash, gives you a hug. You're there early. Your friends are like, dude, what are you doing? That's the difference between your mom and dad. And then your dad doesn't run lights. He cleans his car off. It's in the wintertime. We're in the Midwest. So you're going to learn that behavior, and that's going to be your internal struggle. What steps can I take to avoid an accident? Keep space, take your time. How can I stay alert on long drives? You will have to learn that. You're going to go from your home to Cedar Point. You're going to go from your home to Chicago. You're going to go from your home to Virginia. You're going to go on a long drive. That's part of learning how to drive. Over 4 hours, I consider that a long drive. You've got to keep your radio on. You've got to have it cold in the car. You need to get up every 100 miles and get out of the car. But if you don't learn this, you might try to drive straight through, which is okay, but you're going to go really slow. You're going to go really fast. In terms of disabilities, my father had a disability. He had hand controls in his car. So now I'm sharing some information with you. When you have hand controls in your car, There's a specialized shop that can put hand controls in the car. You need to subscribe. Real talk. There's a specialized shop that put and more people who have handicaps are driving. So this is nothing new. You go take your test. You show the instructor and the road tester, hey, I have hand controls. Okay, can you steer? Okay. Can you slow down? You push the lever down. Okay. So this is nothing new in 2024. So hand controls are just a different way of controlling the gas and the brake. So you need to keep more space. Let's pretend you had a stroke. James, let's pretend you had a stroke your junior year. Your speech is slurred. You walk maybe with a little bit of a limp, but the Secretary of State says, hey, you can't drive right now. You have to be reevaluated. So you get your job. You took a year off school. All your work is sent home online. Schools can do that now. And then you get your hand controls put on the car. Your left side is paralyzed, right? But you still have some feeling in your hands and foot. So your parents get hand controls in the car. You can still drive. You can still park. You can still turn. Let's go. And then the tester's in the car. They're looking. They're marking the clipboard. And you pass. Okay? Just because you have a handicap doesn't mean you're handicapped. I not only talk about it, I lived it. Okay? Is my car insurance higher?
Excuse me.
Yes, go ahead.
My mom is asking if you already made up a minutes. Can you leave the meeting or no?
Say again.
My mom is asking if you already made up a minutes. Can you leave the meeting or no?
Bye.
Oh, okay. Have a good day.
Okay. So let's talk about insurance real quick. And this is the important part. The younger you are, the higher your insurance will be. Why? Younger people have more accidents. They drive faster. They get more tickets. They take more risk. The Insurance Institute is very smart. And they understand they're going to charge you more because your age group has more accidents. As you get over 24, 25, your insurance rates drop down by over 35% because you have less accidents, you're out of college, you might be married, you moved out of the house, so you're now settling down. You're not going to school, you're getting ready to move out of your mom and dad's house, you're getting ready to go to work. You're getting ready to make $80,000 a year, but you don't have a house yet. You still live in your same house and you're in your same room when you were like 12. But you're getting ready to move out. You're stacking up your money. So the vibe is different. Honey, you need to get up. Oh, mom, thank you. You throw on that suit, that tie, charge your phone up, charge your electric car up, and you drive. And you have to be to work on time. If you're not to work on time, you're going to get fired. So James, if you come to driver's ed late, or Keith, if you come to practice late, we know what's going to happen to you at school. They won't accept that. Am I right, Keith? You right. If you come late, you got a problem. So Keith, that's another reason why you chose the school that you did, because they have higher standards, feel me, than public schools. I know this. My teammate was very high standard. You chose the school because it has very high standards. That's why you don't go to public school. And I understand that. And people go to those private schools for certain reasons. You choose schools for certain reasons. The professor, the principal, the driving school. Okay, it's not just, oh, they got cars. It's important. You got to build a relationship. Okay, so your insurance will be high, but right around 24, 25, it's going to drop down. You'll be off your parents' insurance. So if you have accidents, your parents' insurance are going to be high, and then they're going to have a problem. The problem is, Justice, they're going to say, girl, our insurance is up. You need to get a job. You keep getting tickets. I'm tired of this. And then they're going to take the car. How can I avoid distractions? AI can help you, but we are connected to our phone. We love our friends. In the beginning, the way the statute is written, you can't have people in your car when you drive. But what if I'm going to a football game, basketball game? If you're coming from the game, coming from an event, you can drive home. Should I update my car for better safety features? Yes. But a lot of you are driving. Please put in how old the car is you're going to be driving. Or put in the year, make, and model of the car you're going to be driving. Is it a 2016? Is it a 2018? Is it a 2020? You're not driving the new 2024 whip. You're not doing that. You're not driving mom and dad's new car. And most people lease their cars. So they're like, you're not driving my Wagoneer that costs $95,000. Are you crazy? You're not driving my Wagoneer. You're going to drive that 2010 Jeep that's in the back. Mom, there's spiders in there. I don't care. We're going to clean it out. You're going to get 4 new tires. You're going to get a battery. We're going to tune it up. I'm taking it over to Uncle John's. He's a mechanic. And you're going to be driving the piece of crap car. That's what you're going to be driving. Put in the year, make, and model of the car that you're going to be driving. Very few of your parents, oh, honey, we're going to get you a new 2020. Every family is different. But in the end, newer cars are safer. Okay, but the risk of you crashing that car is greater because the first 90 days of a beginning driver is extremely dangerous. Okay, but that doesn't make sense. If I have a newer car, it has all these safety features, but a new car with safety features won't save you if you're speeding. A new car with safety features won't save you if you fall asleep at the wheel. A new car with safety features won't save you if you're driving aggressive. So that's that 16 to 26. In the beginning, you're going to be wilding out, driving fast, driving crazy. But as time goes on, you're going to calm down. Your parents are going to worry about you the first 120 days you're out there when you're driving. I'm going to worry about you when you're done with the course. I'm going to worry about you. So insurance rates are high. AI will make it safer, but you still need to know how to drive. And again, we're not talking about Teslas. Elon, we're not hating on you, but we're talking about AI cars, and more cars are coming with this. How can I avoid distractions? Don't have a lot of friends in the car, stay focused on the road. What should I do if I'm feeling nervous at night driving? I will say this with you. None of you are driving with me at night. So now it gets dark at 6:30. It gets dark at 7:30. You're going to have to learn. If you leave in the morning to go to high school, guess what? It's dark outside. So now, Mom, I don't want to drive. What do you mean you don't want to drive? I feel sick. Your parents are you wanted to drive when school was out. You're going to be driving in the morning. It's dark. You can't see the car behind you. You can't see the stop sign. You almost hit a tree. So you got to learn how to drive. And for many of you, your night driving experience will be with your mom and dad. Prior to this, I used to drive students 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12 p.m. I'm not driving you at night anymore because the risk of you crashing is so much greater. So you got to have that experience with your mom and dad. You know, you want to turn on night driving mode. For you, your night driving mode is cleaning your windshield, cleaning your headlights, making sure you're relaxed. If you wear glasses, you need to wear them, but you're embarrassed. You don't want to wear glasses. They're really thick, or they make your nose look big, or you look silly, and you get embarrassed. You worry more about what your friends say than actually listening to your teacher, listening to your coach. What's up, Timmy? How you doing, man? Next, how do I maintain a good following distance? It's a car length for every 10 miles an hour. So you need to be writing this down. I'm actually going over your test prep right now. Next, how can I improve my parking skills? You got to go out and park. Yes, cars have self-driving parking features. That's wonderful, but you can't use it on the test. Hey, hold on, road tester. I'm just going to push the button. My car just self-parked. That's not parking. You have to cut that mode off. You need to learn how to park. You need to learn how to park. And sometimes parking is very tight. Maybe you're going to a party. There's one small little parking spot that your car can barely fit in. You push a button. Hey, I got AI parking. Your car still can't fit in. You have to learn how to have maneuverability. And a controlled intersection has lights or stop signs. And when you have lights or stop signs, I want to talk about this. We as humans don't always stop at stop signs. We do a rolling stop. AI stops for 3 seconds minimum, looks left and right, and then goes. So with AI features, you will be safer from that one standpoint. As humans, we run lights, we run stop signs. So if you mix in AI, and again, I'm not talking about Tesla. We all love Tesla. But I'm talking about AI cars and making you safer, because I had this several years ago. So there are new driving laws coming. They are here. Self-driving cars are here. Certain modes, you shouldn't be driving self-driving cars in a downtown area. You shouldn't be driving self-driving cars in school zones because a kid can run out. And if you are of a darker skin complexion, the AI might not always see you. Right. Or you have a dark coat on or a hoodie. And many of you in your age group wear hoodies. I wear a hoodie too. So you're going to get hit and killed by a car with AI. I thought it stopped. The AI didn't recognize you. What are the most common causes of accidents in your age group? Inattention, you're tired. Most accidents today happen in unusual situations. Maybe you're leaving the school parking lot, a kid runs out between two cars. Maybe you're making a left turn, you run the light, someone is walking across. It's called a right cross, a left cross, and you hit them because you didn't look. So that still will happen. AI will maybe beep or chat or maybe stop the car, but you can't rely on that. What's the most common cause of accidents, age group, fatigue, getting tired? Should I consider taking the fist and driving course? By all means. I think it's going to be required by the state and by municipalities in the Midwest. We are in the Midwest. How can I trust my driving habits as I age? You can't. If you need glasses, you need to get your eyes checked. If you are having seizures, you need to check. You need to go to the doctor once a year, twice a year, to make sure you're in your best physical condition. That includes taking an eye examination. As an instructor, every 2 years, I have to go take an eye examination. I have to go through a battery of tests. You didn't know that. Bus drivers do. Police officers do. What's the best way to handle driving in bad weather? You want to leave slow. You want to drive slower. You want to leave earlier, but you won't. You're going to leave late. You're going to have ice on the car. You're going to start up the car. It barely starts. You got to clean off the windows. You think, oh, well, AI can get me there, but the sensors have ice and snow on them. So now it's not working. You got a little trouble code. You actually have to drive in bad weather. So I'm not against AI, but I think you have to use it gradually. How do you check your blind spots? You look over your shoulders, but you guys won't do that because you think, I can just look in my mirrors. Okay, blind spots, right? You still have to look over your shoulder. You still have to check. How do I reduce fuel consumption? Take your foot off the gas. A lot of you will hit the gas really hard, so you want to drive smoother. Ease up. Maintain smooth speed. What's the best way to stay focused on long trips? Take breaks. I just told you that. Listen to music. Now, you could have some AI features monitor, actually test drove some cars. I can't tell you the company because I'm under contract. But if you're starting to fall asleep, you nod down, the steering wheel will start shaking because you will fall asleep in the car. I can't tell you the manufacturer or what I did, but that feature was there. So I told you, but I didn't tell you. How often should I get my eyes checked? Every couple years, but if you have trouble seeing in class, then you need to get them checked more frequently. You do drive cautiously as you get older. You're nervous about cars. There are young people speeding. There's that big semi truck, but you guys will be cautious too from 16 to 25. What's the best way to handle distractions? Tell them stop talking, keep conversations to a minimum. How do you make sure your tires are in condition? You want to monitor your tire pressure. You want to make sure you can stop smoothly. When you turn, your car shouldn't be sliding to the right. The rear of the car shouldn't be spinning out. When you turn left, you should be able to go right into the nearest lane. GPS, a lot of you mentioned GPS. You still need to learn how to drive. What if your GPS doesn't get an update? What if there's a detour? What if you can't read? And a lot of you can't read because the average lexile level of a driver's test is 5th grade. You didn't know that. So a lot of people can't read and they're driving. So you have to understand landmarks, pavement markings, guide signs, yield signs, and that will help you. But you got to learn how to drive first. How to avoid getting lost or taking the wrong turns. You've got to learn and look for landmarks. You've got to learn to look for no right turn. A lot of people do rely too much on GPS. Many times I'll have a client drive home. They don't know how to drive home. I'll say, put the address up in your phone. I'll be your co-pilot. So you have to know how to get home. What is your cross street? What main road do you live on? How to ensure my mirrors are adjusted properly? You want to see a little bit of the side of the car and everything behind you. How do you know if you're driving too fast or too slow for the conditions? If you're moving faster than traffic, you're going too fast. If you're moving too slow, if everyone is passing you, you're going too slow. This will be you as a beginning driver. You'll go too slow in the beginning, you'll go too fast in the beginning, and then you will just even out. Let's talk about some crash statistics for young drivers in the Midwest. You are in the Midwest. Number one, lack of inexperience. This leads to poor decision making, misjudging gaps. When you drive with me next week, you're going to pull out in front of a car, James, and give me a heart attack. When you drive next week, Justice, you're going to slam brakes too late. It's okay. I have a brake on my side. But that's what you're going to do. You don't know it. You're going to be prone to speeding, maybe going 10 over the limit. Because a lot of drivers, as soon as the light turns green, they hit the gas really hard. So what I need you to do is just stay focused and trust the process. Or you're going to overreact, James or Justice. A car's going to cut us off and you're going to jerk the wheel to the left. And you're ready to get hit head on. So I would just tap my brake, turn the wheel back. There are a lot of drivers who are impaired. They're under the influence. We have strict laws on this. You're going to see awareness campaigns. Speeding. Young drivers are involved in over 30% of all speeding related crashes. You love to speed. If Keith is late to school, I guarantee he's going to be speeding. Because if he shows up late a lot, his teacher will be calling his parents. Your son keeps showing up late. First he was 5 minutes. Then he was 10. Then he was a half an hour. Keith, you're going to get a phone call. You're going to be called down to the office. And the parents will be like, son, we got you this car. You promised, Dad, Mom, I have a lot of work. I'm tired. I'm leaving late from home. Keith, you already know what's going to happen, my boy. So just be honest, because that's where that truth is going to hit you if you're a junior or senior in high school. If you're in college and coming late, your college professors don't care if you don't show up to class. You paid your money, but you're going to fail your midterm and final and going to have to repeat. So it's really important. Risk-taking behaviors. Your age group takes risk. And we talked about risk awareness, like driving without seatbelt, lights. This contributes to accidents. Intersections are the most dangerous place. Crash statistics. We're talking about 30 to 50-year-olds. They have lower crash statistics. Your parents' insurance is lower than yours. Why? They're better drivers. They've had accidents in 10 years, 15 years, so their insurance drops. Your insurance is very high. You don't even know it because you don't pay it. The insurance that you pay is really worth more than a car. You're paying over $1,000 a month. What? Yes. Insurance in the Midwest is very high. It costs a lot of money to insure young drivers. So lower risk, middle-aged drivers are involved in fewer accidents compared to younger drivers. Typically about 25% of all crashes compared to nearly 35 to 40%. So now you see it. Fewer fatalities. Fatal crashes are less common with middle-aged drivers, partly due to experience. Listen to your mom. Listen to your dad. Listen to your uncle. Listen to your driving instructor. Your mom and dad should always wear their seatbelt. They're not going to run a light. They're not going to cut off her car. They're not going to leave late to get you to school. They're going to leave early and kick you in the bed because you stayed up all night playing video games and you only got 3 hours of sleep. Increased fatal related accidents. Middle-aged drivers may be more prone to being tired. They're fatigued. Adapting to new technology. Your parents don't know about AI. They don't know about self-driving cars. Mom, all you got to do is push the button and the car will like drive. I didn't know. Dad, you don't have to hold the wheel anymore. Just drive for 3 minutes. It learns how you drive and push the button. Thank you, son. My truck was kind of beeping at me because Dad, Mom, it wants to self-drive. Your parents may buy a 2026 or 2027. They have self-driving features. Your parents might be confused about how the car drives. Distractions. Your parents have a lower distraction rate. Wintertime. We live in the Midwest. Wintertime driving, icy roads. Snowstorms. A lot of schools around the South shut down if they get 1 inch of snow. We're built different. Higher speed limits on rural roads, less enforcement, you could crash. Rural roads are very dangerous. Highway crashes, middle-aged drivers are less likely to commute longer distances. This may cause accidents on open roads, where you You go from the suburb to downtown Detroit. You go from the suburb to downtown Houston, Texas. You go from the suburb to downtown Los Angeles, California. So you're like, Mom, I got to drive 45 minutes. Dad, I got to drive 45 minutes. I got to leave 2 hours early. 2 hours early? Yeah. I got to get my coffee from Starbucks. I got to pick up my coworker. I got to finish charging my car. And then I got to drive. Your parents are like, I'm glad I don't do that. I'm almost retired. But then you're making $250,000. And then your parents are making $85,000. So technology, highway crashes. Middle-aged drivers are less likely to commute longer. Younger drivers, it will help you reduce risky behavior. It will help middle-aged drivers focus on smooth driving. What are the takeaways? We're almost done. Takeaways. Young drivers in the Midwest have a higher rate of accidents. We're in the Midwest, particularly on rural roads. We don't really want to drive on them. But due to inexperience, risky behavior, and distractions, you could crash. Middle-agers, they are safer, but still have fatigue, distractions, and adopting new technology. My dog is barking upstairs. I'm like, what is she doing? She's protecting me. Someone's by the house. I am a little bit tired. Yes, but I'm not doing that. Okay. Adapting to new technology. I've been in some self-driving cars before. I've been in some Teslas before. We covered this in driver's education, and we have to prepare for it because we're going to be driving you. You are the next generation student. Cars in 2024 are dramatically improving safety, especially among young drivers who benefit from automated corrects, but you still need to drive the car. If you don't know how to drive, AI won't make you better. I need you to type in what you learned into the chat. All of you type it in. Type in what you learned. This is for you. This is for all of us. All of you type in what you learned. How to keep your car straight when you're driving on a highway. You've got to look ahead. It's very easy to look down at the line after line after line. You'll fall asleep. Look ahead. Look at cars. Are cars changing lanes to the left? Are cars changing lanes to the right? It takes time to learn how to drive an expressway. It's really fun. I had a question about expressway driving and not keeping the car straight. After about 15, 20 minutes, you're going to settle down on the expressway, and then you're going to start driving at the proper speed, whether that's 70 or 75, way out in the West, in some cases. So you need to start in the middle lane. I put my beginning drivers in the middle lane. You got to be in the middle lane. That's the smooth lane. You don't want to be in the lane to the right. You'll get cut off. You don't want to be in the lane to the left. That's the passing lane. People are doing 80, 90, 100. You will make them road rage, and then they won't like us. So you've got to learn how to maintain good speed control. And if your mom and dad are scared to take you out, you won't learn how to drive. So you really got to find that balance of learning how to drive and adopting your best technology when you get out there, because the smart driving cars are here, but you still need to learn how to drive. And it was hard for me not to mention Tesla. They've done the most research, and used Teslas are on the market for 25 or 30,000, and they're a good situation. I'm going over worksheet 2. When planning for hold on, let me share. Sorry about that. So we're going over the worksheet. Okay, and this would be a great situation for all of you. When planning for a turn in heavy traffic, you should prepare to get in the lane. The correct answer is 2 to 3 blocks ahead of time. A lot of beginners go in too early. They go in too late. I'd rather have you get in early, have your blinker on 5 times, 6 times, 7 times instead of the last second. Because if you get in the lane the last second, you're going to slam brakes. In the wintertime, we'll slide in the middle of the street. So I have to prepare for defensive driving. When backing a vehicle, you should see clearly in the direction your vehicle is moving. The best way to do this is by turning your head and shoulders and looking backwards. This is true. But I have a backup camera. There's ice on your backup camera. Your backup camera is foggy because it's below 32. Oh, that makes sense. So you got to look out your window, okay? Before moving a vehicle in reverse, you should check to see if there's anything behind you. Always look. But my sensor will go off. It might not if there's dirt on there, or there's ice, or maybe your mom and dad don't wash the car, or maybe you're too lazy to take the car to a car wash. And then all the sensors around your car get dirty and it doesn't work properly. And you're like, why can't my car back up for me? Because your car can't see. Just think about that for a second. And we're tying into what we just learned. Next, you enter traffic from a parked position. You should wait for a large enough gap for the speed of traffic. A lot of beginners judge distance poorly. You're going to pull out in front of a car. When you learn to drive with your instructor, with your coach, with your mom and dad, girl, why did you pull out in front of the car? I'm sorry, mom. Boy, don't you ever pull out in front of that truck anymore. Okay, dad. Dad, can you drive? I don't feel good. Because your dad screamed at you because you almost pulled out in front of a car and got hit. And he should. But that's the difference between your coach and your parent. I'm both. I'm a coach and a parent, but I advocate safety. Searching for specific driving related clues is different in different situations. This is true. Driving in a suburban area, you have kids and cars. Driving in the city, you have pedestrians, you have delivery trucks, you have a lot of busy intersections, one-way streets. Driving in rural areas, you have crown-shaped dirt roads, you have deer, you have tractors, you don't have street lights, you have a ditch, and you could fall into the ditch. You have washboard-shaped roads because they only grade the road once every 2 months. They don't have lights out there, so it's very different. The process of searching critically for the traffic environment involves an organized search pattern. Next, the instant you observe a conflict, you should check your mirror. Do you have room behind you? Can you see? Always check your mirrors. But as a beginning driver, you won't look behind you. Okay? Justice, you won't look behind you. James, you won't look behind you. Keith, you won't look behind you. Emily, you won't look behind you. Josh, you won't look behind you. Shaniqua, you won't look behind you. You won't look behind you because you're so focused on what's in front. But there's a truck behind us, and if you slam brakes, we get hit. That's why I have a self-driving car. So you want to make sure that we're focused. I don't let strangers in. Dun, dun, dun. Next. Aim high means you're looking ahead 12 to 15 seconds. And that's what beginning drivers don't do. They don't look ahead. You got to look ahead as far as possible, like walking down the hallway at school. You see the principal, run, dude, right? Or you see your coach, dude, you didn't go to practice yesterday. Keith, you need to come down to the office. So you're coming late, Keith, and you're missing practice? Bro, they're going to kick you out of school, man. But that won't happen because you set a higher standard. And you're like, I'm coming there because I want to be a leader of tomorrow. I want to be a leader of tomorrow. That's true, though. The distance your vehicle travels from the time your eyes see it is perception distance. So you want to be a car length for every 10 miles an hour. Remember we talked about this, a car length for every 10 miles an hour? The faster you go, the more space you need. Next, the area you see is called the field of vision. You want to see to the left, front, right, and behind you. And if you have a self-driving car, you may have cameras, i.e. Tesla, that will give you snapshots. And that's smart driving technology, and I think more cars will have that in the near future. When driving an expressway, you need to look ahead 20 to 30 seconds. When driving in city traffic, you should check traffic signal at least 1 block ahead. Is the light red? Is it green? Is the light even working? To assess, is traffic going fast? Is traffic going slow? Is there a car broken down? You got to assess the traffic. Okay, I have a question. So to keep your car straight, so when you're driving, if you squeeze the wheel really hard, you won't be able to keep the car straight. A lot of beginning drivers squeeze the wheel really hard. Relax your grip. That's the first thing I need you to do. Number 2, I need you to look ahead as far as possible. A lot of beginners look down at the speedometer. They look at the line to the right, the car goes off the road. They look at the line to the left. It's called aim high driving. And once you develop aim high driving, you will be able to keep your car straight. A lot of beginner drivers try to protect their bubble. Their bubble is the space around them. So that should definitely help you. To steer straight forward, look far ahead. Aim high. Just talked about that. To steer straight forward. It's called aim high steering. That was a good question. You must stop at an intersection ahead. Just before the intersection where you have to cross a railroad, you should stop before crossing the railroad. You never want to be stuck on the railroad. You could get hit. You could get killed. If you can't go through safely, stop before the railroad crossing. When preparing to make a three-point turnaround, you should pull to the right and stop. A lot of you don't have experience because we don't normally cover three-point turnarounds. We'll do U-turns. We'll do reverse parking. I'll have you back in driveways. I'll have you pull out. We'll do stall parking, angle parking. It just depends on my student. If you really want to help with three-point turnarounds, U-turns, we will do that. You need to tell me what you need. Every driving school is different. Every instructor is different. I try to give you a general practice of speed control, lane positioning, defensive driving, merging on off the expressway. And once we drive a couple of times, my AI will help you identify what you need to work on. The first couple of times when you drive, I'm learning you. You're learning the car. And then on that third drive, now I can help you, John. I can help you, Elizabeth. I can help you, Emily. I can help you, Justice. I can help you, James. That's what good instructors do. They always try to elevate. Thank you, Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders always talks about elevating. We want to try to get better every single day. That's how I live my day. I'm living my best life here right now with all of you. Next, when preparing to make a right turn, besides signaling 3-4 seconds in advance, you should tap your brake light. You want to let cars behind you know. A lot of you won't do that. You'll just go into the turn really fast, and I'll have to hit the brake. You're going into the turn 25 or 30, and I know we're going to crash. And then you're like, why'd you hit the brake? And I'm saying to myself and to you, you didn't slow down. We can't make a turn at 30 miles. Oh, thank you for saving me. Your AI may or may not do that. Your mom and dad won't do that. So you see where you got to learn how to control the car. When you predict your path of travel that crosses another vehicle, you're predicting the point of conflict. Conflict is you hitting a car, you hitting the curb, you merging out. When another driver tailgates your vehicle, it's best to follow at a greater distance. The front, you can control the space in front of your vehicle, but not behind you. A lot of you, when you drive, someone is tailgating you, you're going to speed up. But now you lose your competitive advantage in front. Keep space. And AI and smart driving cars will automatically adaptive cruise control. It will adapt to traffic in front. You'll have a sensor in the front bumper or in the grille. You'll have a sensor in the back bumper that will adjust to the vehicle behind you, and it goes in zeros and ones, and it will adjust your speed up or down based on the car ahead of you, the car behind you, and if brakes are slammed, the adaptive cruise control will start to squeeze the brake, and then you can take over. So that's how you should be driving it smooth and keeping space. When following a vehicle that blocks your view ahead, it's best to follow at a greater distance. If you're behind a bigger vehicle, increase your following distance because you can't see. Many people drive lifted trucks, bigger trucks. I love trucks. I'm a truck enthusiast, but you can't see around them. So you should change lanes. Next, to avoid collisions with vehicles that appear to will hit you in the side, you should brake smoothly. You want to hit at an angle. It's called a glancing blow. When a vehicle hits a fixed object like a tree, what is the best, most important factor to determining how hard you hit it? It's the speed of the vehicle. You never want to hit a tree because trees don't give. You want to hit something that gives. Bushes, dirt, sand. You'll be asked a secret question. I can't tell you right now. You must, if you must leave the roadway, you want to steer for something soft. You never hit a guardrail. You never hit a piece of steel. You never hit a tree. You want to aim for something soft. You need to identify a hazard further ahead when driving at faster speeds because you need more time to react. The faster you go, the more space you need, the more time you need. The best way to keep from getting involved in an emergency driving situation is to constantly search ahead. A lot of you saying search, 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 distance, 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 following distance, keep space. These are some of your key words to help you drive, but you're not learning right now. When you get into a car, you're going to learn. And then we're going to apply these things in our brain, and you will learn. The key factor in driving in city traffic is to plan and concentrate on seeing everything in your traffic scene. When you must handle several hazards at the same time, you must adjust your speed and position to separate the hazards. What does this mean? A car is backing out. You tap the horn. A car is in the street. You slow down. You'll learn to identify the hazards and make a good decision. Instead of slamming brakes and flipping your car and running over the car, running over the kid, you'll squeeze your brakes, you'll get to the left, you'll get to the right. And that's when your mom and dad will share those stories with you of becoming a good driver. That's when your instructor will share those stories with you. The single biggest cause of crash is drivers running into things they can't see. The driver has the least amount of control to space to the rear of the vehicle. The most basic principle of controlling consequences of a crash is to avoid head-on crashes. They are the most dangerous. Head-on crashes are the most dangerous because your energy is combined with their energy and it quadruples. This is why head-on crashes are so horrific and people are killed. A large truck is driving in the middle of the lane and 3 lanes of traffic in the same direction. You want to pass it. What is the best thing to do? You want to pass on the left. There are smaller blind spots on the left of a larger vehicle than but what if I'm in the right lane? You quickly go through and keep it moving. Sometimes you can't just get over to the left. If a vehicle has to cut closely in front of you to avoid oncoming traffic, you should slow down and check traffic to the right shoulder of the road. You're driving with right and an upcoming vehicle to your left. You should have a middle course of travel. School parking lots, college parking lots, downtown parking lots. You have to learn how to balance your car and watch for pedestrians. Parking lots are the most dangerous area for pedestrians. They get killed because they walk out between cars and you don't see them. You're looking down, checking your phone. Your coach just texts you, where are you at? I forgot practice in the morning. Keith, come to the office again. I guess I have to go back to public school now. Come on, man. I'm telling you the truth. Okay, these stories.